welcome to A Homespun House. I hope that all of you had a really nice Christmas season and a wonderful New Year's Eve as well. I can't believe that we're already into basically the second week, kind of January. It just seems crazy. I can't believe it's already 2015. I remember when I was little and I would think about 2015, 2020 and think that it seemed forever away. And now that it's here, for me, it's really crazy. And to think that our daughter is going to be born in 2015, 4 more months. How crazy is that? We had a really fantastic Christmas. Like I said, we celebrated at Robert's parents' house. We were just there actually from the 24th until the 25th. We thought we would stay a little bit longer, but we wanted to have kind of a little Christmas swap, little Christmas dinner with some of our friends, and they could only do it on the 25th, so we left in the afternoon on Christmas, you know, the 25th, and we came home and we went straight to their house, and we had some yummy snacks, drank some good coffee, had an amazing dinner of Tina cooked some duck, some homemade klöße, and then we brought some homemade red cabbage that Robert's mom made. And I normally am so not into meat, as you know, but she had, I think, duck breast, I believe is what it was, and it couldn't have been cooked any better. It was so perfect. I didn't eat any of the skin because I will never eat any skin on any sort of meat. I don't like it at all. It really grosses me out, the texture and everything. So I gave all my skin to Robert and I just ate the little duck breast, and it was really delicious. I couldn't have eaten more than one, just because that's kind of too much meat for me. But one was really, I was really impressed. So that was really fun. Back to Christmas, which is the 24th. Now this day could not have been any more perfect for Elodie. It really was an amazingly, completely magical experience. Elodie waited by the window for Santa Claus, and she eventually saw him and started screaming with excitement. I mean, she was so excited when she saw him coming, and then as soon as he kind of left the window, she ran to the door, opened the door, and yelled to him, "Come inside, Santa Claus, come inside. Come inside, come inside," she kept telling him. And he came inside and she was so excited. 0% of her was afraid. She talked to him, she said hello. Without even anyone telling her, she started to sing a song. O Tannenbaum, I think, was the first song that she sang, I'm pretty sure, which is O Christmas Tree in German. And she sang so many, for every single gift from Santa, which is all of the gifts, but all of the ones that he brought in his sack, she sang a song, and it was so heartwarming, so sweet. It was just an amazing feeling to watch her, filled with excitement for this figure, you know, for this exciting man who is coming one time in a year and bringing her gifts, and it was really magical, and I could not have even dreamt up a better way that it could have gone, because it was so perfect. Elodie, was machen wir jetzt? What are we doing? What are you doing? Are you waiting for him?
Yeah.
Who is that? He's so Are you going to go and meet him?
Nochmal, hallo Weihnachtsmann.
Hallo Weihnachtsmann!
Nochmal lauter.
Weihnachtsmann!
Oh.
Darf der reinkommen, Elodie?
Ja, guten Tag.
Oh!
Wer ist denn du? Elodie. Das ist aber ein schöner Name.
Ja.
Schönen guten Abend, Weihnachtsmann.
Und zu Recht hast du Angst.
Dein Blätter.
Batterie ist üblich.
Kühlt nur zur Sommerzeit. Kühlt es nur, wenn es schneit.
Ja, Elodie. Oh! Ja, bei Emma. Da war ich schon vorhin. Die hat auch schon ihre Geschenke bekommen.
Drückst du den Weihnachtsmann mal?
Ja, tschüss.
So that was really, really enjoyable and so special. I caught all of it on camera. It was wonderful. And we spent the evening playing games. I think I went to bed maybe around 4 in the morning. Robert a little bit later. And it was just a really, really great time. I got so many wonderful gifts. I think 2 of which I have here to share with you. Yes, 2 of which I have here to share with you. So the first is from Robert, or both of them are from Robert because he is so fantastic. He gifted me 2 gorgeous tea sets, and by sets I mean a teacup, a little tea saucer, and then a plate, all matching. So the one that I have that I'm going to share with you today is this one. It's beautiful mint green, and it has these lovely golden flowers, and it's really, really, really nice porcelain. And then this is really cool because the outside is completely cream colored, whereas normally there is a lot of design going on. And then there's some really pretty texture that I'm not sure if the camera will catch that. And then in the teacup, don't want to bend it over too far because I'm drinking coffee, is that pretty flower design. And the plate is being washed at the moment. And this morning, because it's early in the morning, Robert, when he dropped, just so you know, because my mom pointed this out in my last podcast, I don't know if anyone noticed that, but my hands are a little bit dirty. It's not really dirty, but every time I'm lighting the candle, I'm getting the soot on my hand. And it just doesn't come off for a while. Something else, oh my goodness. So something else really exciting that happened is New Year's Eve, we welcomed a new member into our family, and she is nowhere to be seen. Her name is Kira, and she is a 2-year-old cat. She's fantastic. So Elodie and I have been wanting a cat for ages. Especially before we went to America, she really wanted one. When we were in America, my best friend Katie has a cat. She has 2 cats, Odin and Leo. And my grandma has a cat named Oli. And so Elodie was surrounded by cats quite often. And she loved them. She played with them so well. She wasn't really crazily handling them. She knew when to stay back and pet them. She wasn't squeezing or picking up or being out of control. Just a really gentle cat person. And so she's been asking for one all the time. Anytime, like I've mentioned, you ask her what she wanted for her birthday even, she wanted a cat. For Christmas, she wanted a cat. And so finally New Year's came, and I thought, what better way to welcome in the new year than want and bring home a cat? So I talked Robert into it, and we really wanted to get an older cat. 2 years isn't that old, definitely not at all. But just because those cats have so much of a more hard time finding a home, and they're so much more manageable for someone who's working full-time, and for someone who has a family, who's pregnant, going to have a baby. I mean, right now we're a family of 4, including Kira, 5, including the little one in my belly, who's a girl as well. So it's just a house full of girls. But she's potty trained. We've had her since New Year's. I don't even know what day that was. And she's never gone on the floor, ever. She's been in her litter box every single time. She's very, very shy. So if you guys want to know a little bit about her, she's extremely shy. She is very gentle. I've never heard her hiss, ever. Her previous owner, Lily, said that she is really quiet. She's really shy and really cuddly, and she follows you everywhere. She just loves people, which is really perfect for Kira because I work at home, and so I'm here all the time, and Robert is often working from home as well. And so it's really nice for her because we are almost always here, you know, except for a couple of hours in the day, every so once in a while, you know, if we go for a walk or if we go get some groceries, do everyday errands, see friends, etc. And she's hiding a lot. She is coming out when it gets a little bit darker, which is quite early here, you know, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and yesterday was really a kind of groundbreaking day for us with her, for me with her anyway. So she had been out a little bit, and then it came time for Robert to bring Elodie to bed. And while he was putting her to bed, Kira was kind of meowing, and I was wondering, you know, what's going on? I'm sure she's really feeling lonely, wondering where in the world is Lily, because she's lived with Lily since she was a baby, and she's 2 now, like I said, so it's a while of her life. And, you know, that's just a sad feeling. It's a sad feeling to know that your new cat is feeling abandoned, basically, and wondering where in the world is my friend? You know, where did she go? So I felt, you know, really bad for her, and we've tried playing with her a lot. She definitely has been playing on her own in the evenings, but this was the first evening. I went out and bought a couple of toys for her. Elodie and I did, the day after we got her. Or no, on the 2nd of January, because on the 1st everything was closed. And so I started playing with her with some of these toys, and she loved it. She just really needed to play because she has been kind of hiding out and hiding under sofas and hiding under the bed. And the first day she was in her litter box all day. She's really, really warmed up really quickly. I thought it would take 2 weeks or so before she was coming out and playing, by the way that she was acting, because she was so shy and so what's the word? She was really unsure, I guess. Skeptical. And but she's very, very gentle. So we played and we played and we played for about an hour last night until Robert, he fell asleep with Elodie, so I went and woke him up because I thought, what in the world is taking so long? And she completely changed. Since that evening, it was just last evening, she has been out since. She came up into the bed with us, and Robert pet her for a really long time last night while we laid in bed. And she woke us up maybe twice because she was being crazy out here, just running around and having fun. And it made me laugh kind of to myself in bed because I just thought, oh, I'm so grateful that that Kira is feeling more at home here slowly. So at Lily's house, she had a Kratzbaum, a cat tree. A scratching tree? I don't know what it's called in English. Kind of with a little, you know, it has a little house and little things that they can play on. We don't want a big one because I don't think that's necessary, but because it is so important for Kira to be hiding, we've just ordered one today. So it should be here before the weekend, and we've ordered one that's about as tall as I am. So it should be a good height, and it has a little place for her to hide, because that's where she always was at Lily's house. She was in her Kratzbaum often when she, when new people came or when she was feeling a bit weary of things. And I think that's nicer because she can actually see what's going on, as opposed to being under the sofa or under a bed. She can't even see who is here or what these noises are. I could go on talking about Kira, but I will not because I've already gone on enough. I know before I started talking about her, I was talking about my teacup, and I wanted to talk about these. So these are cream cheese danishes, and this is one of my favorite sweets to get here. So we have I call it the corner shop. That's what we all call it, Elodie, Robert, and I. And it's a little store kind of owned by Russian people, and they have bakery items there, just a couple, select few. And this one is my all-time favorite. I love it. And it is so rare that they have it there. There was a time when they had it almost every day and it was dangerous. And now, I think I've been going, or Robert has been going every day for the last week, and this is the first time that we've got it. I haven't had it in a really long time, maybe a month or two. And I was so happy when he came home from picking up Elodie and brought that home to me. They're to die for. They're really, really yummy. It's the only thing that I've ever tried here that tastes like cheesecake. It's not that quark that I've talked about. So, I guess I can move on to my other Christmas gift. I have learned after knitting this sock that I am in love with Regia tweed. I want to knit all my socks in it. And it's so strange because I really love indie dyed yarn. I almost cannot see myself really ever buying any, wholesale manufactured yarn except for this yarn. I have been on Amazon since I've started. Okay, so this is what I got. I got the Regia 6-Fettig tweed yarn, and it's a really pretty navy blue colorway. So I have a pair of socks knit in this. It's kind of like a periwinkle purple, and Robert had a pair of plum socks knit in this, which are lost. I've talked about this more than one time. And so I got this from Robert. Inside of my project bag, I have some lovely cake batter chapstick. I got that from my sister for Christmas, along with some other wonderful things. So, I decided to cast on because I have been looking at this pattern for a really long time. So it's called the 2-Lane Highway Rage socks, and they're by Sarah Stevens of O Loops Yarn Company. Fiber by Design podcast. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I love your podcast. It is one of my favorites, yours and Lydia's. And I always just call it the O Loops podcast. You guys, you need to change it to O Loops podcast, because Fiber by Design, if that's what it's even called, I don't think of it as that. You guys are the O Loops girls. Your podcast is O Loops. So this is a design that she designed, and I absolutely love it. If you've watched my beginning podcasts, you know that I was so obsessed with knitting socks for a long period of time, and it was just really my comfort knitting, just the thing that I always picked up, and they were always just plain Molly socks. There was nothing to them. It was just a standard sock with, a traditional heel flap, and then which turned into the Fish Lips Kiss heel. Now, I like the way that the traditional heel flap looks better, much better, but the Fish Lips Kiss heel is so much more of a meditative knit for me. So I'm knitting more for the experience of knitting than the outcome a lot of the times. I love the outcome, of course, but I just love knitting. So I finished my first sock, It's probably going to be hard. It hasn't been blocked at all, and I didn't bring a sock blocker in here with me. Ridiculous. So I knit these on size 1.5 needles, I believe, 2.5 millimeter. And I knit them on my double points, Carbons. And it has, seriously, the coolest design. It's so simple. It is so potato chippy. And so it has this slip stitch design right here. And I love it. I've cast on 56 stitches, which is less than the pattern and the smallest size calls for, but I have to knit a 56 size sock, otherwise it's too big for me. And there's a Fish Lips Kiss heel in there, and I have started the second one. So I'm finished with the cuff, and I've already done 1.5 pattern repeats. I love this pattern. I can definitely see it's something that I knit more, although I'm not at all a person who is into knitting pattern socks. I love the way that they look, but knitting them has never been enjoyable for me until 2-Lane Highway Rage came along. I had seen it for a while. I had been wanting to knit it. I got this sock yarn and I thought, I'm going to do it because I really love the way the tweed yarn looks with a little bit of patterning in it. My other yarn that I have, the Periwinkle, is knit in the Cineva pattern by Lena Gerald, and I love them. It's really cable-y pattern, which I was a bit skeptical of at first because I didn't know if it would be so comfy, but it completely is. So I love those. And I love knitting the patterns. If you guys haven't tried out this pattern by Sarah Stevens, you have to. It is fantastic. It goes by so fast. I finished the foot in one evening. It was just a pattern that I could not get enough of, and that was really, I can't think of vocabulary today. Refreshing. It was really refreshing. I just needed a pop of coffee, and then I could think about it. So my shawl design was put on hold because I ran out of yarn. I will talk about that in just a minute. But because I ran out of yarn, I couldn't knit on it, and I have been desperately wanting to work on a shawl, and I have talked before about the Infinite Twist pattern that they've put out and yarn kit by Susan B. Anderson of the Hayward shawl. And Susan talked about this on her podcast, and I fell in love with it. She knitted in this beautiful, beautiful blue, which I adored. And I thought, I need to knit this. It's so gorgeous. The yarn was so beautifully dyed. I think in the kit there are 4 or 5 different opportunities of yarns you can choose from. And so I chose the green one, and I've knit a bit on it actually. So I think I'm on to the 3rd section. It's knit in sections. This is a really different style of crescent shaped shawl that I've ever knit. Style as in the pattern is written really differently. It's a totally different look at the crescent shaped shawl, and I really like it. It's, again, very potato chippy. So I have the garter stitch section done, the eyelets, here the stockinette, and now I'm going to come up onto the lace. So let me show you a picture of what that looks like. Oh, that's not a good. So this is the picture on the pattern, and this is kind of a better picture. I mean, it's a little bit hard to see, of course, but because it's such a small picture. I am knitting this in let's see here, in the Laurel colorway. So it's 100% wool, and the pattern calls for 600 yards of wool. And I'm really intrigued by that. That sounds like a really nice big shawl. Now, when you look at the picture of Susan wearing it, it doesn't look that big to me. So we will see. I'm enjoying knitting it, like I said. I don't know if it was this shawl or a different shawl, but I can remember, I'm pretty sure it was a different shawl. Susan was knitting on a shawl that had a lot of different pattern changing in it, and she was talking about how fun that was and just how she wanted to keep knitting on it and keep knitting on it, because when she would finish one section, she would get to the next section. And that was just something that kept her going. And that's how I feel about this shawl. That wasn't knit in that, that big of a time span. Not that it's a lot of knitting, but there are about 200 stitches on the needle now. And I've really just enjoyed the time that I've spent knitting on it. It's just been such a joy. So I'm really, really liking that pattern, and I love the yarn from Infinite Twist. It's so different than any yarn I've ever knit with. It's a little bit similar to the Miss Babs in my opinion. I'm very, very curious to see how it washes, because it's not the softest yarn. It's plied very, very tightly, and I'm looking really forward to seeing how it's going to be once it's blocked. So I have that in one of my Homespun House bags. I'm having a shop update today, so it will already be up before you see this, because the podcast won't be up until the evening here in Germany, and I guess kind of the morning, afternoon in America. So maybe you'll get to see it. I've been doing a lot, I guess, in the past weeks, and you know what? Or a week and a half, I think, since I last podcast. And I think that's really perfect, because that's exactly what I wanted to do. It's exactly what I talked about in the last episode, that I just wanted to take this time to, spend for me and just work on some fun knitting. Maybe that's why I ran out of yarn for my shawl. Maybe it was a sign and was like, hey Molly, do something for yourself, stop working. It was so crazy not to really work the last 2 weeks, because Elodie had her Kita holiday and she was home all the time. So I mostly just spent nap times working, so that, is an hour each day. And I have so many, I want to talk to you guys about it so bad. It's not even like it's anything huge or anything secretive, but I just want to wait until everything is here to show you. But there are so many fun things coming into the shop that I'm really looking forward to. So onto my shawl design. I just wanted to show you my bell is stuck under my sewing machine cover. I got my new skein of yarn from Miss Babs, and that's kind of my acquisition for the week, I guess. Yeah. And I will be using that to finally continue and finish my shawl. Like I mentioned, it's a colorwork shawl, a textured colorwork shawl, and it's just using 2 colors. I've decided, both the aubergine and the bell colorway from Mrs. Babs. It's a sport weight yarn, a 3-ply superwash, and it's in her Yummy base. I love the saturation of these yarns. I love how they're tonal. I just adore the colorway, and I don't have anything bad to say about this yarn. I would love to know how her sock yarns are, but for now I'm really, really enjoying knitting with this, and I will work on this today. This will be one of my things, is to work on my pattern. So I'm really excited that came. I have finished 2 things this week. I talked as well last time about the Aviatrix hat, which I love. It's the one that I knit for Elodie. Loved it. It fit so perfect. It's very, very fast. It has a lot of short rows. That's basically all that the hat is. And it's amazing. It is such an amazing hat. Now, I think that the original pattern with sport weight yarn for a newborn is way too large. I knit mine on fingering or sock weight, and I knitted on a 2.5 millimeter needle. And I think anything any bigger would be massive on a newborn's head. And I really want these to fit our newborn and my best friend Katie's newborn. So this is the yarn that Katie chose for hers. It is the Regia tweed yarn that I knit my baby vertebrae with the Fair Isle hearts out of. So this is the way that this one looks. I put on these gorgeous, they call for really little buttons, and I really wanted a wood button. So I put on this adorable little wooden heart button. Now she doesn't know if she's having a boy or girl, and she won't find out. So she thought this color would be a good one, and I love it. I think it's perfect too. And then for our little girl, I decided to use this yarn because I had a bit of it left. I used almost all of the yarn that I had left, which was really nice. It's such a nice feeling when you have a skein of yarn and you use almost every single piece of it. So I knit a pair of socks, which my mom has, out of this yarn. It's an MCN blend. And now I've knit this, and then I have enough to either knit a bird of happiness or a square on my blanket. If I already have a square on my blanket, I will probably knit a bird of happiness. I'm not sure. I hope it's not coming out orange, because it's not orange. It's kind of a salmon, a pinky red, a mint green, and then a turquoise teal sort of color. So this is ours, and I love them. I hope that Katie really likes it as well, because they fit like a glove. And I had a lot of fun knitting these just because they go so fast. I wish I knew someone else who was having a baby, just because I really did have a lot of fun knitting this. I suppose I could even, thinking off the top of my head, while I'm really enjoying knitting these, I could just knit one more. You know, it's an option, definitely an option. We'll see if I really do that. So I believe that is all the knitting that I've done. Last time, I think I had this on my spindle and I plied it. I hope I haven't showed this to you already. I am so not a fan of the green in there. It's okay, but it definitely could have done without. So that turned into, I would say, a sport weight yarn. The next thing that I worked on was this. So I've been at my wheel. I've been doing a lot of spinning. Kristen from Wool and Vine Yarn podcast, or Yarngasm Wool and Vine Yarns, she's just turned me on to spinning so much lately. I don't know, ever since watching her on her drop spindle, like I've said, I've wanted to spin. And I've been having so much fun with it. So I finished my Spin Monkey Rolags. Yes, I'm so happy about that. And then I had then I had some singles that I spun a long time ago, which were also 2 grams of yarn. Whoops. And so I decided to ply them together, and this is so much yardage. I have no idea yet, but I am guessing, I think it's 3.83 grams of fiber, and I would say it's about 450 yards. That's my guess. It's really fine. It's it's a fingering weight yarn. But this is the way that it turned out. I'm completely unhappy with it. Each single, the Spin Monkey singles were so beautiful. The singles that I used before were so beautiful. They were the first singles that I ever spun on my wheel. It was a 50-50 merino silk blend. They were so gorgeous and plied together, in my opinion, it just looks like vomit. I have no idea what I would ever knit with this. Maybe once I skein it up, I like it better, but I'm really disappointed in this. The first singles that I had were, like I said, they were the first singles that I ever spun up on my wheel, the first yarn I ever spun on my wheel. It was a really nice yarn. And it just turned out so... I don't know why I decided to ply these two together, because the first yarn was really mauvey and plummy and beautiful. And the second yarn, the Spin Monkeys one, it had a lot of silk in it as well. So it had a lot of creams and it was very shiny. And then it had pinks and greens. And just the two of them together, in my opinion, don't work. I mean, I know someone could love it, but... And I can see that it is a really, really nice palette if you like. It looks quite neon-y to me, and I'm not into neon at all. None of me is into neon. So we'll see how it is once I skein it up. Maybe I like it better. I've thought about selling it in the shop because it's such an amazing blend. There's Tussa silk in there. It's 50-50. It's 50% silk. I mean, the fiber alone for both of these together, I would say, cost €60, so, or €50 maybe. So it's just a real bummer. Anyway, it is what it is. I had a little bit of the Spin Monkeys left over, and this is gorgeous. I don't know why I didn't ply this on its own, like I said. So this is the way that this would have turned out had I just plied it against itself. I will use this for something special, of course. Bird of Happiness. I haven't decided, but I really love it. I really, really love the silk in there. I think it looks so beautiful. So I'm happy with that, at least. The next thing that I've started spinning is, oh my goodness. I've died and gone to spinning heaven because I received a package a long time ago, a massive, massive, massive package from one of you. And inside I received a spindle from Hip Strings, and with the spindle was gifted from the owner of Hip Strings some fiber, and it's 50% yak, 50% merino. And the first shawl that I designed, my Whispering Pines, was knit with yak as well. And that's my favorite knit I've ever made. And I love that yarn. It's one of the nicest yarns I've ever knit with. And spinning with it, I think, is even more luxurious. Yeah, so I have this much left. It is seriously like a cloud. If you are a spinner and you've never spun with yak, I know it's quite expensive. At least find a bump or something that you can spin it with, because it's unlike anything. I am enjoying the daylights out of it. So I'm spinning this on my Spindle and Fleece Top Whirl drop spindle. It is 0.6 ounces. And I'm loving more and more spinning with this drop spindle. It spins really nicely, and it just gives me a really nice even yarn. I'm trying to spin this a little bit thicker. I want it to be a fingering weight yarn. a little bit heavier than a fingering weight yarn. I would have liked a sport, which it could be. We'll see how it fluffs up. I have no idea once it's plied, is what I'm looking for. So I'm having so much fun with this. I'm just really loving little drop spindle projects. I still have no idea what to do about the Wool and Vine or Yarngasm. Dee-Spackle, she's doing a spin along on your drop spindle where you spin a shawl in I think 4 months. I don't know what to think about that. I think it sounds like so much fun, but will I be joining in? I thought about starting last night on my spindle, but then I became too terrified. So we'll have to see. I know I could do it. It's just, do I want to dedicate all my spindling to that one fiber? I don't know. If not, I won't. If so, I will. How obvious is that? So that's been a lot of fun. I don't know what I'm going to spin when I finish this little one. I've kind of not really had any interest in spinning on my wheel at all. So I'm going to keep doing fun little drop spindling things. And right now I can totally see spinning a shawl, yarn for a shawl, because I don't really have any more little bumps. So we'll see where that takes me. I've been doing a little bit of sewing. This is something that I sewed a while ago and I just never showed because Elodie wears it all the time. So I sewed out of jersey a little dress or skirt for Elodie. So I have some bunchen up here, and then I have some jersey fabric with some pretty old vintage lace and a cute little pocket here. Because Elodie needs pockets in all of her clothes. She puts her chapstick in there because she's obsessed with chapstick lately. And her little toys. I don't have her little toys that she plays with a lot. She has these wooden toys that my best friend Katie made. And there's a mama, a papa, Elodie, and then a baby. And it's our family. She really painted them with clothes that we wear, and they look like us. And Katie gave those to Elodie when we were in America in September. And Elodie loves them. She plays with them seriously all the time. So the reason why I got this in my hands and I'm able to show it to you, the reason why I have this in my hands and I'm able to show you is because I've sewn Elodie a new dress, skirt, and it is really cool. This time it's cotton. It's leftovers from my bag, the bags that I sew. And it's patchwork and it is really, really, really sweet. I'll show it to you in the next podcast if I remember and if she's not wearing it. So I've been having a lot of fun making little skirts. I want to start making the baby some cute little jersey harem pants, and yeah, I've been having fun sewing little clothes. And I've been thinking about sewing a skirt for myself. I'm quite intrigued. I think it would be, this sort of a skirt anyway, would be simple, completely simple. So that's kind of something I've been working on and having fun at. The new one has 2 pockets because she wished that one would have had 2 pockets and it doesn't. So I think that's mostly all that I've been working on. I have a big update that's going to be happening. And let me show you some of the bags that will be in there. So I have my mushroom picking. I love this one with little Scandinavian birds. I love handmade. I have 2 different contrasting ones. So nice that it always has the little sheep on there, because I know a lot of knitters buy my bags. Another mushroom one. Fox. little dinosaur one. All of my bags have these yarn zipper pulls on them. Those zipper pulls will be changing. I would say in the end of January. I will no longer be having the yarn zipper pulls. They will be new ones. I have kitty cat one. Kitty cat one with a different colored zipper. And this one has a cool textured band there. I have Bliss. Lucky Feather. That's my big bag. That's what I have all of my projects in. In here I have my shawl, all the yarn for my shawl, my huge 150 gram skein of Regia yarn, my sock, and the sock that I'm knitting on. So you can fit a lot of stuff in those. What else do I have? I have my Meow bag. And Birds of a Feather. So I'm normally updating through Instagram. Usually I'll just post a picture and say there's going to be a shop update today. And then that shop update usually goes live shortly after or within 1 to 2 hours. So if you want to get those bags, that's usually the best day. Or anything that's in the shop. I don't have a specific day that I'm updating. It's just kind of whenever I have a nice amount of bags or new things that are coming into the shop, I'll just do a little update. And like I said, this week there will be quite a few bags coming in. I am excited to be back at work again and to be making things again, be having time to be creative. I miss Elodie. I feel, I'm definitely thinking about her. I always am. But I hope she's having a nice time at Kita. I'm sure she's having a nice time. She has good friends there. But of course you miss your little baby. I have so much fun with her. And yeah, I just look forward to a homespun house this year. I wish that I would have made up a little goal list of things that I wanted to do this year, crafting goals and so on and so forth. I haven't given any thought to it. I watched The Suburban Stitcher, this is a newer podcast that I've been watching. I know that she's been podcasting for quite a while. I've watched a couple of her podcasts in the past. And now I've just really gotten into it. I really, really like her. Diane, I believe is her name. I hope that's her name. And I just love her podcast. She's so charming. She seems really fun. I bet she's a really, really fun person to be around. I can see her being a little bit crazy. I have no idea if that's wrong, but I can totally picture this. And hilarious. So that's a newer podcast to me that I've been watching and getting more into. Ichigo Abroad is one that I've kind of enjoyed. I've watched her last 2 ones where it is just her and her mom. And I know that it's normally her flying solo. So I'm curious to see what I think about those. I really like the way that they communicate together and the feel of her and her mom together. So we'll see what I think about that. I'm really enjoying that one so far too. I'm going to get to work now because like I said, I'm filming in the morning. I'm going to drink some coffee, eat a little bit of my Danish, and just have a nice relaxing morning. I'll turn on some music, probably not a podcast because while I'm sewing, it's too hard to listen to a podcast over my machine. So I hope you all had the most fantastic of holiday seasons and New Year's. And I look forward to seeing you in this new year. Bye.